course, people were upset about Mississippi State. They were saying that they were very physical. So it's just been a lot of support for JuJu, but then there's been a lot of outrage. And the person who's getting it the most is Jayden Daniels' mom. And now people are saying that the lady done put JuJu on JuJu.
All right, so we have a pretty serious fumble of the week for this week, and it goes out more so than a fumble of the week. It's just a sign of sympathy and empathy for USC star JuJu Watkins, who obviously went down earlier this week with a devastating ACL injury in the NCAA tournament. Just an unfortunate set of events because JuJu Watkins is by far the most popular women's athlete in all of women's college basketball and is probably only second in women's sports in totality to Caitlin Clark. This injury is devastating not just for her for this season, but for the entire NCAA going forward next year and potentially even the year after that, because sometimes these ACL injuries do take 12 to 18 months to fully heal. And so, yeah, my heart just goes out to JuJu Watkins. She was having obviously a phenomenal season, the runaway player of the year this year in college basketball. And so that is our fumble of the week this week. Samaria, what are your thoughts on JuJu's injury?
Oh my God, it was just devastating. Like, I remember watching it and I thought, okay, maybe she just bumped her knee on the ground and she kind of fell awkwardly. And then just to see the pain on her face, I think everybody, like the amount of support that she received, you could just tell what she meant to the game of basketball just as a whole right now. And I feel like it was just really devastating. I hate that, like you just mentioned, we're not going to see her play for USC again. The next time we'll see her is probably for the draft next year, and then whatever team that she's drafted.
Well, no,
to.
she's a sophomore this year, so you have to do 4 years. So next year will be a junior year. The year.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we will see
Yep,
her.
yep.
We just won't see her next year. It's very similar to like Paige Beckers. I felt like that was kind of what happened with Paige. But nobody wanted to see her miss a season like that. So it's going to be the same way with JuJu. I will say there was a bunch of other things that were happening. Fans are very upset right now with USC's head coach because they felt like maybe JuJu was playing a lot in the first round of the tournament. They were up like 30. I think she kind of tweaked her ankle or a little bit. She had some sort of lower leg injury. And so people were like, well, why is she still playing? It was she played majority of that game against, I think it was UNC Greensboro or something like that. So you had that. And then, of course, people were upset about Mississippi State. They were saying that they were very physical. So it's just been a lot of support for JuJu, but then there's been a lot of outrage. And the person who's getting it the most is Jayden Daniels' mom. They felt like she was blocking a little bit. So they were at the game prior to JuJu's game. So she was sitting next to Jayden in the stands, and it was real cute. You know, it was a cute little moment. And when the camera panned back, Jayden Daniels' mom, who has been known to let people know don't play about her son, then was now in between them. And now people are saying that the lady done put JuJu on JuJu. And that's real extreme. But have you seen that?
It was beautiful to see two young stars have some sort of likeness. I don't know if it was romantic. It could have just been platonic. I don't want to just imply that it's inherently romantic when a man and a woman are smiling at each other. But it felt good to see. It felt like it felt like a movie to a degree, right? It felt like I was actually watching some modern version of Love and Basketball. Mm-hmm. And then when they pan back and Jaden's mom wasn't just sitting there; she was sitting there with like an attitude. Like she had a little spice with her in that moment.
How do you know that woman had an attitude?
I said, looked like, I don't know what she had, but reading body language, I read body language, and her body language was saying that I sat here because I need to break whatever's going on up. And that could be because maybe somebody alerted her that the two were on screen, on camera, and people online were making mention of it. And so she was trying to stop that from happening. But the optics of it looked very like my son is my man-ish. And so that's never a good look. She is very protective of Jaden Daniels. Why you would feel the need to be that way with JuJu of all people is interesting. But it was nice to see her smiling and her eyes wide open. Normally her eyes be, hella closed.
That's what people were saying. And she was showing all of her teeth. Like she was showing all of her teeth. We never see that. Even on the bench,
she's such a competitor. Yeah, she's such a competitor that we don't, like she's personable like in commercials and online, but to see her have a human interaction that looked very organic and natural and she
Hmm.
was very pleasant. It was my first time seeing her, like, oh, that's a woman. I know that sounds crazy. Like I recognize that she's a woman, but like a grown woman. Like it
Right.
just it was nice to see her in that way, even
Right.
just because maybe the conversation felt good to her spirit, whatever the reason was.
Yeah. And then for that, then for literally the next day to see her in agony and crying and being, it was just such like a,
Loving basketball,
yes.
loving basketball moment. The arena was silent. They had that pan down shot that looked like it was a really out of a movie, and it was like, damn, this is agonizing. I felt so bad for her in that moment. Shout out to Dawn Staley who called her and gave her a word of comfort. I saw that online. That was beautiful. But I'm wondering going forward what this means for USC's program next year. Obviously an ACL injury can be a devastating one. Even with the advancement of modern medicine, women oftentimes have a harder time coming back from ACL tears than their male counterparts. And so it's going to be interesting to see if she misses all of next season or maybe she comes back around the tournament time. That there's so many things at play here, and there's a lot of money at play as well. This affects Nike's bottom line. This affects USC's bottom line, the NCAA overall, and the advancement and growth of women's college basketball. Because there is no other superstar there is no other superstar even anywhere near her stratosphere that the NCAA can attach their brand to. So this is painful for a lot of people, but of course, JuJu is the most important of them all. And then I saw this debate online, and I'm wondering what you think. Who is the bigger star, JuJu or Jayden?
Juju.
Why? Okay. Why would you say JuJu? Why JuJu? I'm not
Because
questioning you. I just want to
Juju
know.
is a star, like she is like the star over like all teams. Like you literally said it in your intro, like women's basketball in general.
Yeah,
She's
she's
up
second.
there.
She's the second most popular women's basketball player.
Right.
Third, probably behind
He's
Asia Wilson as well.
not there yet. There are, if
He's
we're
top
looking
10.
out for, okay, and that may be it, but he's not, he's a little bit lower.
Okay, but hold on.
There's
All
some
right. So cool.
superstars in football, and yeah, there's some superstars that are more,
Okay.
you know,
So
what?
this is an interesting debate because you feel that because I think it's obviously Jaden Daniels when you play starting quarterback in the NFL and you lead a team that has been desolate for so many years to the playoffs, and you are a guy that the league is for sure going to plant its flag in and helping drive the league going forward, especially because you impact the game in its most important position and you have a cultural reach that other quarterbacks don't, like a Josh Allen. I think and 17, I think the NFL games give you like 17 times more than like the highest rated women's basketball game. And so there's way
Yeah,
more
but
eyeballs on Jaden Daniels.
I know, but
He's
there's
playing in arenas
still
of
some
50,000.
stars. He's top 10, but there's some stars. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. If we're doing quarterbacks, I mean, there's other positions. Travis Kelsey probably is the most well known, unfortunately. If we're talking about just eyeballs on people, not him being an elite talent, we understand
Mm.
that. But just superstardom, it's probably going to be Kelsey. And then Mahomes.
Okay, but if
He's
I'm
down
10th
in
on the
there.
league, but if I'm 10th in the league, if I'm the 10th most popular player in a league that gets 17 times more viewership than even your biggest game,
Okay,
then
so are
I
we
have to
talking
be
about their
bigger than your
respective sports? Because that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about,
no,
if we're
but like so
like Juju
Juju
is
has a
like
million followers. Jaden got 3 million followers on social media. So
right,
I
but if
mean,
we're
like,
talking
I just
about Juju in basketball, she's a little bit higher than Jaden means to football. That's all I'm saying.
all right. But you all let us know your thoughts about the fumble of the week this week being JuJu Watkins, not because of anything negative and salacious, obviously because of the injury. And also, how do you feel about Jayden Daniels' mama sitting in between the two and breaking up what could be the start of a beautiful friendship? I don't think it was romantic. Maybe just two good people getting to know each other. Y'all let us know your thoughts in the comment section.